Hello there. Welcome to our research documentary. Today we're going to take you on a journey of the trials, tribulations, and results of our research. But to understand the goals of our research, we first need to explain the context. We wanted to create an immersive VR horror experience. In the narrative, the company Extend is developing a new torture method without physically damaging the subject. In the experience, subjects are participating in an experiment where they get connected to an alternative version of themselves, who has to undergo increasing levels of torture. Whatever the other subject is experiencing, our subject is experiencing as well. So, how did we incorporate the hybrid aspect? Well, when I said the player is experiencing whatever the other subject is experiencing, I meant actually experiencing. We wanted to make the players actually feel like they would be sitting in the torture chair. So let's get to the point of the video, the playtesting. The goal of our experience was for the physical elements to actually add to the immersion and for the game to be scary and thrilling, but mostly fun. We wanted to do 2 rounds of tests, with one group experiencing only the VR experience and the other group experiencing the VR experience with physical elements. Seeing if the elements we added actually created for a more fun and scary experience. So, how do you measure fear? While researching, we found the most common way to measure fear is through moisture levels. To measure moisture levels, there are very expensive tools that we did not have access to, so we had to drop the idea. Another way to test fear is through measuring the amount of time someone is blinking. But sadly, the player is wearing a VR set, so we wouldn't be able to count the amount of time someone is blinking. The eye tracker device at school is only from a distance, and we didn't have access to eye tracker glasses, so we also had to drop that idea. Finally, we came up with the idea to have players hold a stress ball and measure how many times players would squeeze the ball during the experience. However, this also didn't work. When players would be tied down to the chair, squeezing the stress ball was not possible. And since we did not anticipate this would not work, we did not have a backup method, so we sadly ended up just using the basic interview style survey we prepared. However, do not underestimate a nice survey. Consisting of 15 carefully thought out questions, with 5 questions before and 10 after the experience, we were sure the survey would be able to accurately tell us if our experience was successful and whatever needed to be improved. So let me tell you what happened. Before the experience, we would ask the players their age and gender. Both groups were around 21 and mostly male. Then we asked about their experience with horror and video games, on a scale from 1 to 5. Again, the groups were very similar, with around a 4.5 experience with games and a 3 for experience with horror. Then we asked how relaxed the players were feeling, on a scale from 1 to 10. Both groups weren't very relaxed, with an average of around 6. Then the physical experiencers went inside the room with doctors, signed a suspicious contract, took an unknown drug, put on a jacket, and got tied down in a wheelchair. Meanwhile, the control group just went straight to the wheelchair. During the experience, we would notice a lot more facial and vocal expressions from the physical experiencers, looking around a bit more nervously. After the experience, we again asked both groups how relaxed they were feeling. We were surprised to see that the non-physical experiencers were actually feeling less relaxed, but the physical experiencers didn't feel much difference. When we asked if the players thought the experience was scary, all physical testers said yes, and half of the non-physical testers said no. We then followed up with asking each participant to grade parts of the experience on a scale from 1 to 5 on scariness. When checking the vitals, physical participants gave an average of a 3 and non-physicals gave a 2. Since we wanted the experience to increase in scariness and the vitals were just a warm-up, this was a good rating to us. When asked to rate the Shadow Companion, most of the players didn't see him and so gave it a 1. We realized we didn't do our Shadow Companion justice and made sure to make him appear more frequently after the playtest. There was a small difference with the arm being cut open, but physical players reported the sensations not feeling quite right. So we decided to add water drops to the final product. The floor falling and arm being chopped off had a nice difference between the 2 groups. Still, we hoped for players to report higher level of scariness at the end of the game. We ended up adding more creepy sound effects to the final presentation to also help increase this. But then the most important question came. How fun would you rate the experience on a scale from 1 to 10? With quite a big difference of 1.15, we found it had proven our physical elements did add to the experience. When asking improvements, the non-physical experiencers actually said they would add real touch to the experience. People also mentioned we were too subtle with the haptic vest and the cutting, so we cranked it up for the final presentation. If we would have more time for our project, we would probably look more into using the Shadow Companion even more towards the end. Whenever people reported seeing him, they all graded him higher than a 4. We want to have a more scary ending to the game, but overall everyone recommended the experience. So we're very happy with the results, and we hope you are too.